Hey there, welcome back to The Magic in the Music. I'm Jen. I am here to guide you through a very important question you might be wondering about. Is Disney Vacation Club still worth purchasing? I'm going to take you through the numbers and help you figure out an answer to that question today. We are not sponsored by Disney Vacation Club or any other DVC related business, so you can count on getting true and honest information from me. If you don't know what Disney Vacation Club is, you'll want to check out our playlist linked up here on Buying Disney Vacation Club. But if you're here for the numbers about the Disney timeshare, known as DVC, you're in the right place. The first cost that we need to look at is the initial purchase price of the points. Direct contracts, that is, contracts that are purchased directly from Disney, have a set price for the points. In the past, you were automatically pushed to purchase the new active resorts that Disney is trying to sell. But now Disney seems to be more open to promoting contracts at the existing sold-out resorts. The bottom line is this: Disney can sell you points from just about any resort as long as they have them available. The only resort that you are probably not going to be able to purchase direct points from is the Villas at Grand Californian, because there just aren't enough points available. That is a very hard resort to get. But other than that, if there's a resort you want, you should ask your guide if you can buy that resort. All right, it's time for some numbers. Get ready. In our example, we are going to look at the Villas at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, which is one of the currently marketed resorts for Disney Vacation Club. The current cost is $217 per point. If we were to purchase a 150 point contract, which is currently the minimum purchase amount if you are wanting to receive access to the full incidental benefits and perks that come with DVC membership. So this is a logical amount of points for you to purchase. There are also typically incentives to purchase amounts, say 150 points and up. So this seemed like a good number for us to use as an example. So 150 points at $217 per point is $32,550. Yeah, that's a lot of money. And so if you had a little bit of sticker shock just now hearing that number, I have to remind you that that is literally decades worth of hotel accommodations for a vacation. Now, for some of you, that's still going to stop you in your tracks. But for others, you might see some value in this. Remember that closing costs are going to factor into this as well, because it's a real estate transaction. So Disney lists the closing costs for a 150 point contract as $852.46. That would be for 150 points. You'll also need to include in this equation any costs associated with financing. Quick side note on financing: we are not big fans of financing. I don't recommend financing. I don't think it's a great idea to finance a timeshare. It's a luxury purchase. But you know your own situation best. You are in control of your own finances, and there are certainly people out there who have financed their DVC purchase and they are very happy with their decision. So I'm not telling you what to do, but I would really think carefully about it before you finance it, because it does erase some of the savings that you get from it. And if you must finance, by all means, please shop for the lowest rate that you can possibly get. If you do need to finance this purchase, then you're going to want to search for a loan calculator so that you can enter the total cost of the interest and the fees right here. DVC also tends to run promotions on their newest properties, and they are currently offering a $600 off for a 150 point contract. So the total cost for this direct purchase at Grand Floridian would be $32,802.46. Now, be aware that pricing for DVC contracts can vary wildly depending upon the resort. The least expensive, direct from Disney, is $150 per point for Vero Beach, and the most expensive for Grand Californian is $320 per point. Ouch. But you know what? You're not going to be buying that anyway, because they hardly ever have those available. They do have different expiration dates, so you are really paying for different lengths of contracts. You have to be aware of that. And don't just buy the cheapest one. Everybody looks at that 150 points at Vero Beach and they say, hey, that's it. I'm just going to run out and get that one and I'm done. Well, I'll show you later why that is not a great idea. So I'm also going to show you how to make an apples to apples comparison because there are some other costs associated with DVC that you need to know about. Now, another option that could potentially save you a lot of money is to purchase a resale contract. These are purchased through a resale company. These contracts were previously sold to other owners who no longer wanted to keep them, and then they resold them. Think of it like a used car or like a house that somebody else bought new and now you're buying it used. Not surprisingly, this option can save you a lot of money, but in exchange for that, it comes with considerably more time, more inconvenience, and some potential dead ends where you might actually have to start your search all over again if Disney decides to step in and take your contract. And there are going to be some restrictions on how you can use these points. But even so, even with all of that, resale can be a great deal. Direct contracts, on the other hand, are incredibly convenient, like dangerously easy to purchase. Okay, dangerously fast. I could call up a guide today and have points in my account tomorrow, booking a vacation, done deal. Scary fast, right? Scary fast way to spend that much money. Resale contracts, on the other hand, can typically take maybe 90 days or even longer from the time that you start looking for the contract to when you're closing and actually seeing points into your account so that you can use them. However, once you're done with that resale transaction, you still have those points until the expiration date. So if you can put up with the temporary inconvenience, there is a payoff for you in terms of savings. Let's take a look at our Grand Floridian example once again. The average resale price right now for Grand Floridian is approximately $175 per point. So if we were to purchase 150 points on the resale market, and yes, you would have to find a contract that is exactly that amount because they cannot be changed once they leave Disney Vacation Club's hands. That cost would be $26,250. Yes, it is a huge difference. We still have to add in the closing costs of approximately $850, so that's about the same as the direct example. And to keep this comparison fair, we won't use any financing on this example either. So the total cost would then be $27,100. Yep, that's a savings of over $5,700. Now let's look at the number of remaining years of points on the contract. Villas at Grand Floridian expires in 2064. So if you purchased a contract with 2023 points, you would have 42 years of points remaining. Now multiply the remaining years times the number of annual points. In this example, 42 years times 150 points per year, for a total of 6,300 remaining points. Now we're going to divide each purchase price by the number of actual points. Our direct purchase was $32,802.46, and we'll divide it by 6,300 points for a total cost of $5.21 per point. Now we'll do the same for the resale contract. The total cost was approximately $27,100 divided by 6,300 points for a total cost of $4.30 per point. Now let's add the current cost of maintenance fees per point. Yes, this is going to go up gradually over time. At the time that I'm recording this, the current maintenance fees for Grand Floridian are $7.3332 per point, and those are assessed annually for each point that you own at a resort. So we're going to add that amount to our cost per point amount, and so we know then approximately what we are paying for each point. Yes, that will change in the future as the maintenance fees go up, but this is a real, actual, concrete number that we can use today to determine the actual value right now and the actual cost right now of this contract. So for the direct contract, we would be looking at $12.54 per point, and the resale contract cost would be $11.63 per point. While there is a difference, it's not quite as dramatic of a difference when it is spread out over the total points on the contract. So this is your real cost for the points. This accounts for the differences in lengths of the contracts if you're comparing different resorts that have different expiration dates, and many of them do have different expiration dates, and it gives you a real apples to apples comparison. You can also translate this to the real cost of your room. For example, to book a Standard View Resort Studio at Grand Floridian in July on a Saturday, you would need 21 points. All I have to do is multiply the real cost per point times the number of points needed for a reservation. The true cost of that reservation using your resale points would be $244.30. The same room would be about $263 for this same booking using the direct purchase points. While there is a difference, it's a relatively small difference. Now here's where it gets interesting. Both of these examples are significant savings over the rack rates to stay at Grand Floridian, which start at a whopping $820 per night, including tax. So you can see why people love DVC so much. Even if you got 30% off your hotel room at Disney, you still can't come even close to touching these prices that DVC offers on the exact same room. Remember, one of my favorite things about using DVC is that these are points that we as members own. So we don't pay hotel tax and we don't pay for parking like the rest of the hotel guests would have to. Okay, we're going to come back around to some of the expenses associated with owning Disney Vacation Club. And a big one is maintenance fees. Maintenance fees are a fact of life for DVC members, and they always go up a little bit each year. There have been 1 or 2 years where they didn't go up for certain resorts, but that's pretty rare. You want to assume they're going to go up maybe on average 5% per year, roughly. They are assessed at the beginning of each calendar year, and members can pay them monthly or in a lump sum. They also vary quite a bit. Currently, they range from around $7 per point at the low end to nearly $12 per point at the high end. It's also very important to factor in these costs when selecting a resort. Looking at the maintenance fees really tells the tale of why you should not simply buy the least expensive resort unless that's the one you really want to stay at. For example, Vero Beach Resort has the lowest per point cost, but the highest maintenance fees. So it essentially cancels out the savings of purchasing that less expensive contract because over time, you're going to make that up with your maintenance fees. Okay, so the initial cost and the maintenance fees, those are the things that DVC guides will tell you about when it comes to costs. But now I'm going to tell you about all the other stuff that you might not be thinking of. I know we certainly didn't when we became DVC members. Annual passes. Now, currently, annual passes are not on sale at Disney World, and so this is not really an option. But for us, when we became DVC members, we started purchasing annual passes on a regular basis. We know this is not a must-have, but don't underestimate the allure of having access to a perk that's normally only available to Florida residents, and those are some of the lower tier annual passes. In our case, it's the Sorcerer Annual Pass. Now, if you're a Florida resident, this might not make a difference to you, but we're not Florida residents. So the appeal of being able to get that is really great. Now, this perk is only going to be available to members who purchase enough direct points so that they are eligible for incidental benefits, but it's a pretty great perk. Be sure and comment below if the annual pass sales have reopened at the time that you're watching this video. Another cost that we've experienced as DVC members is more frequent trips. In our case, it's Disney World. For you, it might be Disneyland or one of the other DVC locations. You are going to want to go to those locations more often once you're a DVC member. For us, that means more airfare, dining, merchandise, travel expenses, dog boarding, all of it. We've also found that we have family members and friends who want to come with us on our trips, so we go more often, and we even tend to gift some of those experiences to friends and family, or booking larger accommodations and bringing them along with us. While this is certainly not something that everyone is going to do, we do like it, and we think you may want to do the same thing after becoming a DVC member. We also find that when we have easy access to larger accommodations, we tend to use them. We recently stayed in a one-bedroom villa at Disney World rather than the studios that we would normally stay in. And this would be kind of akin to staying in like a suite at a hotel rather than the regular hotel room. And let me tell you, it is hard to go back. Another way you might find that you spend more money as a DVC member is discounts. You can get some good discounts. So sometimes I've gotten things as much as 30% off on shopdisney.com. They'll have occasional deals like that. Sometimes you'll see extra discounts in the theme parks and their retail locations. There are discounts on dining. So I would not normally purchase quite as much, but sometimes there'll be a great discount going and then I'll end up spending more because I have it. Okay, the absolute most expensive unseen cost of being a DVC member is something that members refer to as add-on-itis. There's a reason we have a term for it, because once you become a DVC member and you have that first contract, then you want more. It's addictive. You want to have more points. Once you start to experience how great it is, you may find yourself shopping for your next contract or your next contract. So beware. So is DVC still worth it? While the cost to buy a DVC contract does continue to go up over time, so does the cost of a hotel room at Disney World and the other DVC locations. With inflation fairly high, our DVC points have maintained their value quite well, especially with other resorts having increased parking expenses and resort fees. DVC continues to look like a good deal. DVC also has historically high resale value, even in times of economic uncertainty. That's what makes it so much better than other timeshares. Members have historically been able to sell their contracts to others if needed. So while DVC is definitely not an investment, it's a fairly expensive initial cost. It's clear that it gives members the opportunity to stay at prime Disney resorts at a fraction of the cost of the regular cash rates. And for many people, this insurance against hotel rate inflation and extra fees is worth it right there. For me, standing on the balcony, watching fireworks at Grand Floridian with my family was reason enough to love owning DVC. But we want to hear from you. Tell us in the comments if you think DVC is still worth it, or maybe you don't think it ever was. If you're already a member, would you buy in today at the current prices? If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button and leave us a comment below. We love to meet you, and we try to respond to every single comment on our videos. You can find us online at themagicinthemusic.com, where we have some merch and you can help support our channel if you like what we're doing. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon. If you want to learn more about how to get the most out of your DVC membership, check out this playlist right over here. We also think you're going to love this video right up here. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, everybody. Bye.